I was their toy to play with. I'd never meant anything more than a toy to them, and I knew I was replaceable.
Millions of dollars meant to honour a trafficking survivor's courage have ignited one of the most vicious family wars connected to the royal family. Virginia Giuffre's fortune, paid out by Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein, is now being torn apart by relatives fighting in court, each claiming they deserve a piece of what she left behind. The battle lines are drawn, lawyers are hired, and what should have been her legacy has become a battlefield. When Virginia passed away in April 2025, she left behind no will. That one decision set off a chain reaction that's still unfolding in Australian courts. The fortune she accumulated was substantial. Reports suggest she received around $16 million from Prince Andrew back in 2022 to settle her civil lawsuit against him. That's right, 16 million, even though Andrew has always denied any wrongdoing. But that wasn't all. She'd also received $500,000 from Epstein himself back in 2009, plus other undisclosed settlements. Add to that 4 properties across Australia, including a stunning 6-bedroom seafront home in Ocean Reef, Perth, and a ranch in Near Gabby, where she spent her final days. Then, there's the $3 million from Andrew's settlement that was specifically earmarked for her charity, Speak Out, Act, Reclaim. That money is still sitting frozen in an escrow account while everyone fights over who gets to control it. Subscribe to Royal Family Daily because this story gets even messier. Here's where things get really complicated. Just 2 months before Virginia's death, her husband Robert Giuffre filed for divorce. 2 months. But under Australian intestacy laws, because they were still technically married when she died, he could be entitled to as much as 1/3 of her entire estate. 1/3 of those millions. But here's the twist. Virginia allegedly sent an email to her lawyer before she passed, explicitly stating she didn't want Robert to receive any of her money. Not a single dollar. There have been whispers and accusations floating around about their relationship, with some sources claiming controlling behaviour and even alleged physical abuse. Robert had secured custody of their children through a restraining order, which raises even more questions about what was really happening behind closed doors. Now, he's in a legal battle, fighting for his share, while others are fighting just as hard to keep him from getting anything. Enter Virginia's half-brothers, Sky Roberts and Danny Wilson. They've lawyered up and they're coming for their piece of the pie. They're not just challenging Robert's claim to the estate, they're seeking significant portions for themselves. Their argument, their family, they were there for her and they deserve recognition. But it doesn't stop there. The brothers are also making a power play for control of Virginia's charity, SOAR, and that $3 million fund that's been locked away. They've been extremely vocal in the media, giving interviews and promoting Virginia's posthumous memoir, positioning themselves as the protectors of her story. But not everyone in the family is buying it. Caught right in the centre of this chaos are Virginia's children. Her 2 oldest sons, Christian, 19, and Noah, 18, applied to the court in June to become administrators of their mother's estate. These young men, barely adults, are now at the heart of a legal war between their father, their uncles, and extended family members they barely know. Their younger sister Emily is still a minor, making the situation even more delicate. The boys thought they could handle their mother's affairs, honour her memory, and maybe bring some order to the madness. But the court had other ideas. After multiple legal challenges from various parties, an independent administrator was appointed instead. Like this video if you think the children deserve the money, because they're the ones who seem to be losing the most in all of this. Virginia's paternal aunt, Kimberly Roberts, has been extremely outspoken about where she stands. She believes the entire estate should go to Virginia's children, period. No husband, no brothers, no extended relatives, just the kids. she's publicly opposed Sky and Danny's claims, calling their motives into question. Other family members have joined her, arguing that if anyone's going to run the SOAR charity, it should be experienced professionals in the nonprofit sector, not family members looking to cash in. Even Virginia's lawyer has mounted legal challenges, and shockingly, so has her housekeeper. That's right. The woman who worked in her home is now part of this court battle. When even the staff are getting lawyers involved, you know things have gone completely off the rails. That $3 million sitting in escrow for the Sword charity has become its own separate war zone. The money was specifically designated by Andrew's settlement to fund Virginia's vision of helping other trafficking survivors. It was supposed to be her way of turning her pain into purpose, of making sure other young women wouldn't suffer the way she did. But the account remains frozen while multiple parties battle for control. Sky and Danny want to run it. Other relatives want professionals in charge. The court is stuck in the middle, trying to figure out what Virginia actually would have wanted. Meanwhile, the survivors that charity was meant to help are still waiting. Share this video to spread awareness about this shocking battle, because this isn't what justice is supposed to look like. The Supreme Court of Western Australia is now hearing arguments from all sides. The estate's value keeps climbing as appraisers examine those 4 properties and calculate the full scope of her real estate holdings. Legal experts are calling this one of the most complicated intestacy cases they've seen in years. Sources close to the proceedings describe it as a prolonged and bitter fight that could drag on for years. Family members who once mourned together are now on opposite sides of a courtroom. The irony is almost unbearable. Virginia spent years fighting against some of the most powerful and protected people in the world. She took on a prince, she exposed a billionaire's trafficking network, and she refused to be silenced. The money she received was supposed to acknowledge her suffering, to give her some measure of peace and security. Instead, it's become the source of more pain, more conflict, and more betrayal. Virginia fought monsters and won, only to have those closest to her turn her victory into a tragedy. The settlement from Andrew was meant to be justice, or at least the closest thing to it she could get. Now, it's fuel for a family civil war that shows no signs of ending. Her children watch as adults fight over their mother's memory and her money. Her charity sits frozen while lawyers bill by the hour. And somewhere in all of this, the question nobody seems to be asking is the most important one. What would Virginia have wanted? Would she have wanted her brothers fighting her husband in court? Would she have wanted her sons forced to become administrators of an estate they're too young to manage? Would she have wanted her life's mission, helping trafficking survivors, delayed indefinitely while people argue over who gets to control the funding? The answer seems painfully obvious, but in the chaos of competing claims and legal motions, her actual wishes have been drowned out by the noise of everyone else's demands. Subscribe to Royal Family Daily and hit the bell icon for more shocking royal revelations, because this story is far from over and the next developments could change everything.